Good evening. Hey, what's up, folks? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. As always, not always, but as most times, got the live LBTS camera up, and this is courtesy of the Windjammer Hotel in Lauderdale by the Sea. If you ever get a chance, stay there. Beautiful little place. Look at that view. Can't beat it. And wow, look at those clouds. Well, what crazy, crazy times we're going through, and history, man. We're living part of it right now as far as the U.S. empire, so to speak. And let's get into spot prices and what's going on and what the title of my video is all about. And here we go. Let's kind of move on there and see. Sometimes I know what I'm doing. A couple of things I wanted to talk about is you're going to see that there's a different spot page up here than normal. This is courtesy of Dylan Gage. One of the more, I'm not a big fan of Kitco, and you can't use other sites that sell precious metals, for example, and the biggie's all out there to it. Yeah, you can't really necessarily rely on them. They're a little bit off, but I will admit that this is one of the closer ones here as far as spot prices. And why am I showing you this rather than the usual digit spot price that I show you with the spreads and everything? In fact, let's go there real quick. I'll show you the difference between these two because I wanted to talk about some things. And give me 1 second here. And let's get into CCE spots. This is a paid service that we use. Spot data, there we go, spots, metal spots. One of the reasons that I use this with you guys is because I like that it shows the highs and the lows during a certain period of time for gold, silver, and platinum, which is kind of useful for us when we're talking about gold and silver. But this particular paid service that we use for spot prices does not have a bid and ask price that a lot of traders use, okay? These kind of give it, this is a paid service that gives us a guideline on spots and stuff. So without a bid and ask. And as you can see, well, let's talk about this first. Gold today, Tuesday, after yesterday, what a chaotic day yesterday was. And we'll get into that in a moment as far as, is there any silver left out there to buy? Man, there might not be. Gold at 4,142.60. Market is closed currently. That was the aftermarket close. 41.7922 was the high, 40.92 the low. That's quite a spread, but you know, when you're talking $4,000 gold, the percentage there is not as much as it seems. Considering at half that price, that kind of move would have been phenomenal, or just crazy, one or the other. You call it. Silver 51.59. 53 being the high, 50. There's another range. Like there's almost a $3 range there, man. Look at that. At any given time, most of us would have panicked at a $3 range. I mean, like, oh my God, one way or another. But not so much panicky right now. In fact, kind of one of the jokes out there is that, oh my God, silver just dropped to $50, an all-time low since yesterday. If you get my point there. And platinum, man, just chugging along. Look at that, 1682 to 1611. And palladium, certainly what I'm going to call, I used to call platinum the red-headed stepchild of precious metals, but, I'm going to call palladium that now because look at those, look at the performance of palladium, caught up with platinum pretty much flat out. Basically out of all these metals, I mean, that was fourth place right there, just chugging, just barely making it along. It just caught up with platinum running for third place. But as far as performance goes, I mean, wow, take a look at that. Wish I knew more about platinum and palladium and probably bought more of it, but I am so loaded up with gold, silver, and platinum like most of you guys are that palladium is an afterthought now for me. However, there appears to be a lot of room for catch-up there, folks, if you think about it. Take a look at the charts on palladium when you get a chance. All right, not to digress, but I was talking about what do dealers use when dealers are buying and selling precious metals amongst themselves. They use what they kind of call a bid and an ask, all right? I got this blown up here. So here's a gold bid and a gold ask, and 41.40, 41.44.60. That's like normal. That's pretty normal for gold to have like maybe a $3 or $4 spread between the bid and ask price, especially at these $4,000 prices. So if I'm going, or your local coin store, or your local dealer, or your local wholesaler, wholesale is retail, all of us, all right? If we are in the position where we're selling a certain product at a certain price, we're going to ask for the ask price of gold plus whatever our big is, our premium or discount, whatever it is. So 41.44 would be the basis of dealers selling gold and silver to other people. When they're buying it, the wholesalers, the major wholesalers mostly, and the retailers use the bid price, right? So there's the spread right there, minor $4 spread on gold. But you know where I'm going, because if you're looking at the line below, you're looking at the silver spread, 50.25. And these are spot prices. These are not future prices. 50.25, the current bid price. 51.70. That's a pretty big spread for silver. Silver is typically, the bid and ask spread between silver has typically been what? 10 cents, 15 cents, 20 cents or something like that. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but not a dollar plus. I mean, that's a huge bid and ask price. Now, what is this bid and ask difference being caused by? Well, there's a lot of folks way smarter than I am. And remember, I'm a retail, wholesale, physical seller. I'm not an analyst, and I'm not a precious metals chartist or anything like that. But I can tell you that I know trends. I watch these prices minute to minute every day, more than some analysts and chartists do. Probably a lot more than most of them do, because I'm kind of forced to watch this 5 days a week, even on Sunday nights. So I see patterns. It's like that little kid sees dead people. So, but anyways, here, excuse me one second. Take a sip. My throat is dry. Good Italian wine tonight, actually. Well, so there's a big spread. There's a dollar spread there on bid and ask. And a lot of people are saying that this has to do with the arbitrage between London, the LBMA, which is trying to cover contracts right now, and silver is supposedly flowing over to London. It's very complex, folks. Especially if you don't know this kind of stuff about commodities and how these kind of transfers work and contracts and all that stuff. But the skinny of it is that London is very short of silver for promises that they made that they have to keep. So silver is much more available in United States right now for a little bit less price. So it's being arbitraged or moved over to London. Supposedly, I don't know the facts on this, but this is from what we're hearing. And it all comes down to kind of what we've talked about for quite some time. And I'm going to get into really yesterday's scare, which was, but before I do that, let's take a look at markets across the board. Dow Jones a little bit up, gold, Bitcoin, more poor Bitcoin, man, just kind of getting trashed, but up a little bit there from a low of 102,000. What a volatile thing that is, man, amazing. I'm done trashing Bitcoin. I realize that it has its own community and that it has its own uses and goods. There's no doubt about that. Technology does not suck, but I still admit that I know very little about it. So commodities, futures, silver, I mean, I think we're doing okay there, but gosh darn, who cares? Let me just kind of move into what this whole deal is about. Yesterday, I posted a video, not a video, I posted and it's kind of funny because I posted a video about silver shortages last week, as you'll notice. And it's not like I have a crystal ball, but there are certain tells that I've been in this business since 1980 that I've seen that I noticed just recently that told me that we are going to see shortages or, shortages, certain types of products, at least in silver. Gold, not so much. Remember, there's a lot of gold available out there, folks. If you're willing to bid up the price of gold, fine. If you're willing to bid more than the bankers and central bankers and whomever is buying gold right now, fine. It's available. You can get it. There's no delays, very little. Premiums might be a little bit higher than normal, but silver is a whole different story. So many different things going on with silver. I mean, just an incredible amount of different, a confluence of all these great storms coming together, in my opinion. And I'm going to get to that. And yesterday I posted a comment on X, which I never expected to get 378,000 views as of right now. 378,000 views. It's unfathomable to me. Give me 25 cents per view, 10 cents per view. I could, but 378,000 views for a comment. And here, this is what I said. I said, this is crazy. I just spent it all silver sales at my company, Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals. This has never happened to me before, not even 1980. 3 reasons: cannot hedge, cannot find product, cannot figure out premiums. All right, at this time when I had posted this, which was 10:38 yesterday morning, I had gotten word that a large first I had seen that many retailers online had stopped selling. A lot of people had stopped selling. A lot of people had run out of product, including JM Bullion, supposedly, or ATMAX, some of their JM or something, their site went down. Forgive me if I'm wrong on that. But there seemed to be a lot of people bought over the weekend. A lot of people bought over the weekend, cleaned out a lot of dealers. And on Monday morning, some of the largest wholesalers out there, not to mention refiners, which is a whole different story. We're going to get into that maybe. Said we're not buying. No, we're not selling right now. We're buying, but we're not selling. And that kind of sent a panic wave from me. And I said, this is crazy. I just suspended silver sales at my company because, again, one of my largest suppliers said, we can't sell right now. All right. And the three quickest reasons I could get or assume, never assume, you make an ass out of you and, as you say me. Three reasons: cannot hedge, cannot find product, cannot figure out premiums. Well, this at the time was somewhat true because on Monday morning, everything was havoc. The entire retail and wholesale bullion community. And remember, I've said this many times, the coin, not rare, but the coin and bar bullion market, eagles, maple leafs, 100-ounce bars, 90% silver, all this stuff. The wholesale and retailers make up such a small part of the whole silver market. I mean, we're like, well, less than 1%. However, a lot of the wholesalers were in a frenzy yesterday because and retailers were in a frenzy because they couldn't figure out. There's a big frenzy going on right now because nobody can figure out what to do with scrap silver. I'm going to get into that in a moment. But the big frenzy yesterday was that it was indeed true, is that a lot of dealers and wholesalers are trying to figure out how to hedge against that. What was I just showing you right there? That big spread right there in silver. How to hedge, how to price your materials as well, because you're going to have to, you look at that spread right there in the spot prices between the bid and ask prices. Now add like some to that and minus to that. I mean, there's huge margins right here. So a lot of figuring had to be done really quickly Monday morning. I think it just sent the entire wholesale, the little retail and wholesale 1% of the silver market entirety in panic and chaos yesterday. So, but it ended pretty quickly because there's a lot of resourceful people out there that quickly figured out. And I've got to give the community out there, the gold and silver community out there, wholesalers and retailers, how quickly they figured out this dilemma that they have, that they, cannot finding product was not an issue. And I'm going to say that right now. I think what happened yesterday, that I can cross this out, that product is available, was available. Most product, not all product. I'm going to get into that in a moment too, because a week ago I did a video that certain products are starting to disappear. And that they're the canaries in the gold mine, like silver eagles and gold eagles. And if you remember last week's video, and you've been watching me here in a couple of videos I did with Chris from Arcadia Economics and Rafi a little while ago, some of this product is just going to start disappearing. But meanwhile, yesterday, it wasn't a lack of silver. Silver did not disappear, folks. There's still product out there, and there's still good sources of product. The real reason that selling was suspended temporarily, and you saw a lot of products disappear, is just everybody, all the retailers and wholesalers trying to figure out what's going on. What do I do? It did take a brief pause and a brief moment on Monday. A lot of the smart wholesalers and retailers quickly figured out how to work with these spreads and stuff like that and what's going on. And so things are kind of back to normal right now in silver, but I don't think it's going to last long. We haven't seen a FOMO moment, period. We haven't seen the moment when Americans en masse start buying gold and silver, period. They're just not there, folks. Whether they don't realize that gold and silver are going up, whether they think it's too high, whether they're broke, I don't know. I mean, there's many assumptions that we can all make, and I've made too, but they're not there. So fortunately, a FOMO moment for Americans buying gold and silver has not happened, but I am seeing the beginnings of it. We are starting to see a lot more people become aware. And let's just see if they have the money to buy, and we'll find out. But as I said in the last video, I don't think that the retailers and wholesalers, and as I said to Chris from Arcadia Economics recently in the videos, I think that we're totally unprepared for a FOMO moment in the United States on retail coins and bars. But anyways, my sales were only suspended for so long, and I was just blown away by the amount of views. There's 378K on that. And I said I was going to post a video. Well, here's your video, folks. Sorry, it took a little bit longer than I thought, day. But and here's me saying, I don't want to sound like a told you so guy, but I've said in my videos in the past 6 months, and those of you guys that follow me know this, that we are melting excess inventory by the barrel. And when the tides turn, the wholesale retail market, physical markets would be left with nothing. Here we are. And I got to tell you, I was wrong. We're not there yet. We are seeing the beginning stages of this, but we are not there yet. And we are fine. Okay, go back there. And where am I? Here we are. I'm fine because all we ever do is replace what we sell. Now, that's my personal business role that we play, or what we do here. And we are fully replaced and just cannot source metal to replace. That was a short period of time yesterday, but that changed pretty quickly. So we're not selling, just enjoying the ride. Let me go down here. And shortly thereafter, and I'd like to look at the time frame here because I want to be very accurate about this. Shortly thereafter, maybe an hour or two, things cleared up Monday morning. And I wrote this: heads up, folks, I've been able on the phone all morning. We're back in business, years of experience. We've been able to source certain products, some immediate, some delayed. I've never had a call, and this is true. And I've had wholesalers say we've suspended sales. I've never had a call that wholesalers said we suspended sales. I've never had that before, folks. And that's what I wrote here. For any length of time, I was surprised. Crisis averted so far. And from what I can find out, the temporary closure has a lot to do with backwardization premiums and probably hedging or leveraging or something like that. However, expect higher premiums and wait times. And again, if we see a FOMO moment, all bets are off. And what else did I write here? Kind of just some things on here. Some people caught my videos there. Boy, that was just a look at that, 380K. A lot of people shared that video, but I wanted to make it clear that that really cleared up very fast yesterday. And the fact that there is silver product available out there, folks. So, I don't want to feed into the hype that, all the silver's gone. It's gone. Right now, there's a lot of products that are still available and still kind of readily available. Last week's video, this was dealers are running out of gold and silver. And you can see my guy likes to put the exclamation and the question mark because it's really, for me, it's a question mark. And what I was talking about in last week's video, and you can see it right here, and you can check it out. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And folks, don't forget I sell precious metals too, so I can really beat. If you live in South Florida, man, come here. I'll take care of you. If you live anywhere else in the country, if you're doing larger deals, give me a call. I can hook you up as well. But last week, before yesterday's crisis, which looked like it was a shortage, but it ended up just being a very confused moment. Last week's video, I wrote that dealers are running out of gold and silver, or how it might happen. And folks, what I'm talking about is what I said earlier here, is that, we have melted over the last 6 or 7 months so much silver. And let me see if I can find that comment that is kind of the reason. I said in my videos, yeah, there we are. We're melting excess inventory by the barrels. And when the tides turns, the wholesale retail markets, physical markets will be left with nothing. And that's what I mean about the FOMO market. And I wrote in last week's video that I thought that we were starting to see the beginning of this as well. And it seemed to culminate kind of into yesterday, but not quite. But we are seeing, start stuff to dry up, really. I think one of my comments, and I've said this many times across a couple different platforms, and I've done some interviews, is that silver eagles and gold eagles are the canary in the gold mine. When American public starts buying gold and silver, they usually stick to the products like gold and silver, especially people that are not familiar with all the different products and want to stick with the more popular and things they know. And gold and silver eagles, both products, and buffaloes, premiums on the buy have gone up a little bit, and premiums on the sale have gone up significantly. Spreads have widened, but it has a lot to do with dealers are afraid of pullbacks. They don't want to get caught with a lot of inventory. So, but the fact that the selling price has gone substantially higher tells me they're selling this stuff, but they're not willing to buy a lot of it. But they're selling it enough that they had to raise their prices on the bid and ask. All right, so there's a lot to be. I could go into the details on this, but I started to see that about a week or 2 weeks ago with gold and silver eagles. The premiums on those started going up, and again, canary in the gold mine tells me that once gold and silver eagles start to run out in America or start to get more expensive, then the other products will start to get more rare and expensive. And by the way, if you're looking to buy sealed silver eagle boxes, they're delayed delivery, and they're stupid numbers now. They're $5 over spot, 10% over spot, something ridiculous. Don't buy them, by the way. There's other products you can buy. And also, I hate sealed boxes anyway. Avoid sealed boxes, folks. You don't know what's in them. I hate to say it. I just hate sealed monster boxes. I just hate them, I'm always want to know what's inside them. I'm sure there's some Chinese guy out there who figured out how to fake a seal. All right, but let me not scare you guys with sealed boxes. I haven't seen it happen yet, so I hope I didn't encourage anybody. So many crazy things out there. Is there a silver shortage out there? Yeah, there is. As far as available retail products, we spent the last couple years, last 6 months, melting excess dealer product that the retail folks out there, maybe some of you listening to me, haven't bought because you're bought in, and uh, so that product's been melted off. So, if there's any new mad dash of buyers coming into the precious metals, retail, wholesale, coin and bullion, coin and bar market, forget about it. It's not there right now. So that could go crazy. Premiums could go crazy. That doesn't mean that there's no gold and silver out there, folks. Trust me on this. It just means that the available retail product, most of it's been melted, and we haven't anticipated a large retail demand for it. And if it does happen, all bets are off. All right, let me move into that's it. That's it, I really think. I just kind of wanted to talk about a couple things here, make myself clear about shortages, and most of all, I this is something I've been posting in my videos for years. I haven't done it in a little while, but I did it for like 3 or 4 long time. I just posted this every day. Maybe think for yourself, folks, and always question authority and question experts. You know what I mean? I mean, they're not all right, and a lot of them, a lot of talking heads out there, including myself. But that's why it's most important for you. Think for yourself and always question authority. Um, well, that's it, folks. If you're looking to buy gold, silver, and platinum in any form, call me at Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals. If you live in South Florida, we'll beat the locals here. And if you don't live in South Florida and you're buying larger quantities, you can call us. We can do bank wires, traditional forms. I don't have a website, so no, I can't compete on that level. And I always recommend, if you're buying smaller quantities and you can't deal with us, find yourself a good local coin store. Check with them, and if their prices and what you see is not what you want, go a little bit further. You'll find a nice one, because at some point, the online guys, they may have good prices. They may be honorable. And again, I'll beat SD, JM, and APMEX and all those online guys. And they're honorable guys. But you're going to have to sell this stuff back to somebody someday, or your ancestors, or people you leave it behind will. So it's always good to develop a local relationship somewhere in your town, your county, or your state. Well, that's it, folks. Have a wonderful evening. Let's see where tomorrow takes us, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.